Hold on, let me flip this really quick. Okay, we're just a little bit crooked here, but hello everyone, this is Carla and welcome back to the studio and thank you for joining me this evening. This is actually a Friday night kinda live, which means that this is actually a pre-recorded video that I am doing. Actually, it's the night before. It's on Thursday evening, and things are going on. It's a little crazy, a little hectic. I do have an in-person class featuring the suite of products that I will be using tonight. And I just a lot of things to get done and get in place for tomorrow. So this is why I am doing this kind of live tonight and then posting it at 7 p.m. on Friday evening, June 14th. So the normal time I go live. So the suite that I am going to be using tonight, let me kind of bring in the stuff that I'm using. So there's the DSP. You can see this DSP has been well used between the projects that I'm doing tonight plus what I am doing for tomorrow. So 3 projects tonight are not the same projects that we're doing for our in-person. So I designed 6 different cards for it. So this was really a lot of fun to play with this suite. You know, it's more of a masculine feel, and usually those masculine cards are a little, they're a little tricky in creating them, but I actually had fun creating with this. And actually, I need to get another pack of this paper actually. So fun suite of products to play with. So there's the 12 by 12 Take to the Sky DSP. We got boho blue, copper clay, mossy meadow, night of navy, smoky slate, and there's also basic white in here. So a lot of images. You got some nice clouds, and you got the vintage planes, and just a really fun pack of paper to play with. In addition, there is the stamp set Adventurous Sky. It is a red rubber cling stamp set. And then we also have the coordinating Adventurous Sky set of dies. You have dies that do cut out the stamped images and these clouds, but then you also have more detailed dies where you can actually put together a plane, which we're doing in one of our cards. The other thing that is in this suite, so it's not a huge suite. We do have embellishments. These are the industrial trinkets. So these do not have adhesive on them. You do need like glue dots or glue to put them on your project. Now these are metal, so there is a little bit of bulk to it, so you may need to put just a little extra postage on your cards if you're mailing it. So on one side, you can see it's kind of like that rivet, but then the back of it actually has this little decorative etching on it that you can actually use that side as well. So this is more than one container, by the way. So I think in here you do get a total of 40 of these industrial trinkets. Okay, so before we get started, what I do want to do, I want to do just a little bit of housekeeping and let you know about what's going on. So currently Stampin' Up! Does have a promotion going on. It started on June 5th and it will go through June 30th, and it is um, an extra 10% off on the stamp and die bundles in the catalog. So let me quickly go and get my catalog so I can show you. Now, these bundles, it's not just what's in our current annual catalog, it's also what is in the online store. So what's in with the online exclusive items. So in here, example, if I go to where our suites start. Now, if you want the extra 10% off on the bundle, what you would need to do in this instance, instead of using the one item number, which would give you everything that's in this suite, what you would want to do is you would want to put the bundle in, you would actually put the items in separately instead of just that one number. So for the bundle, you'd want to put that item number in. So the stamp, the stamp and a die, if you were to just purchase this, its bundled price is $53. So it's bundled at 10% off. Well, during this sale, you will get an additional 10% off. So that's a total of 20% off on this bundle. And then if you want the rest of the items in this suite, then you would put in the item number for the industrial trinkets and then also the number for the designer series paper. If you put in this suite collection number right here, that's the price that you're going to pay with just a 10% off. If you break it up and you put it in the bundle in separately, then you will get the 20% off on this. There's no other additional discount by using that number because the bundle is already at 10% off. So I hope that that makes sense, that if you see bundles in a suite that you would like to get, just instead of putting in that main number for everything, just break it up and put the individual numbers in when you go to order. So it's all of the bundles that you see here. And then towards the right after this, there are some other bundles here, like the Layers of Beauty and the Label with Love, which gives you the choice of having the stamp and a die bundle, or you can get the stamp bundled with a punch. So it's just the stamps and the die bundles, not the punches. And then the same thing with the Keeping Tabs, the Pocket Thoughts, Round We Go, Attention Shoppers, etc. So these are not only just the 10% off, they are the additional 10% off during the sale. So that's a total of 20% off. Now, in the catalog, there is an encore section. These are bundles that carried over from our previous catalog. Now, these are no longer at the bundle discount of 10%. So these particular bundles here would not be part of this sale. It would only be those bundles that are already got that 10% discount on them. Now, in addition to what's in this catalog, it also goes with the bundles, the stamp and die bundles that are online exclusives. Those bundles are not in any publication, they're just strictly online. So if you go to the Stampin' Up website, you go to the online store, you can do a search for just the stamp and die bundles, and it'll show you all of those bundles that you can choose to get the additional 10% off. Now, in addition, it's not just the stamp and die bundles that have that additional 10% off. Our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines also are at 10% off. So on the machines, let me see if I can quickly bring them up. Where are they in the catalog? The catalog's set up a little bit differently. So here are our machines. So there is our large machine. So let me kind of show you. So there is the large machine here. Okay, and it does come with the plates that you need for it. The regular price, now this is in the US, the regular price for the large machine is $130. And then also, in addition to just the large machine, Then there's also the small machine. So this is the boho blue one that was it was part of the joining special during Celebration a couple of years ago. So this is in the online store. And then there's also the white one as well. They're both $66. So those both would also be 10% off. So a pretty good sale that they have going on at the moment. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out and ask. My email is in the description of the video, or you can just simply put a comment below the video and I will respond if you have any questions at all. And also, if you're not working with another demonstrator and you would like a paper copy of this catalog, feel free to reach out to me and provide your full name and your mailing address, and I will get one of these out to you. Okay, so I think that is all I have right now. I will be doing at some point next week. I will have my paper pumpkin kit, and when I have that, I will show you, give you kind of like a sneak peek on what the next three paper pumpkin kits are going to be. And there's also some new coordinating dies that are coming out that I did get those, so I will also show those to you. So with that, let's go ahead and let's get started. I do want to kind of get through this. It is nighttime when I'm doing this, and I'm going to admit it's a little late, and I'm doing this later than I really need to. So we'll get through this. The cards are not really difficult or hard. They're fairly, simple and easy cards. Well, we shouldn't be here for a really long time. Okay, so for my first card, we're going to do a fun fold. We're going to do, what are we going to do? We're doing a book binding card. Hopefully I got things out of the view. So I have a piece of Misty Moonlight. This measures 11 by 4 1/4. I have scored it at 5 1/2, and I've also scored it at 6 3/4. I then have a piece of Night of Navy. This measures 4 by 4. I have a piece of that To The Sky DSP. This measures 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then I have another piece of Night of Navy that measures 4 by 1. And then I have another piece of that To The Sky DSP that measures 3 7/8 by 7/8. And then I also have a scrap of basic white. This is what we will stamp and color and die cut on. So I'm going to start off with folding my card base. We're going to fold it in half. And then on this fold here, I'm going to fold it back. And I'm going to burnish that as well. So that's how our card is going to open. Okay, so I am going to take my stamp and seal, and I'm going to add some in this area right here, because we're going to stick this part down. And then you can take a 4 by 4 piece of basic white, and you can put that inside here to do your greeting and your writing if you'd like. Okay, so we adhere that down. Then I'm going to take my DSP and I'm going to adhere this down to my Night of Navy piece. I really love this cloud paper. And put that there. And then I'm going to take this And I'm going to adhere this down to my card base. Place that right here, like so. And then on this piece, I'm going to adhere this DSP to this piece of Night and Navy. Let me just center that, like so. And then I'm going to add seal to this. And I'm going to place this right here on my card, trying to line up these ends with that other panel that I put down. Okay, so let me bring in my scrap and let me grab my stamp and some ink. So I'm going to stamp this plane right here. So let me take that, and I got my block. And then actually I also need one other stamp. I need the one that says "You lift me up." And let me get a block for that as well. So since I don't have the labels on it, I do want to make sure that I have this straight on here. So I'm basically looking at the bottom edge of my block. So try and get that straight. Okay, and then I got my plane on here, and then I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy ink, and I'm going to ink this up. Now this is a new ink pad, so this thing is really, really inky. And I'm going to stamp this right here, like so. And then on this, now I should have done this before I adhered this down. I'm going to ink up my greeting. And I'm going to stamp that right in this bottom right-hand corner. Like so. Okay, so that's all the stamping that we're going to do. Now we're going to color in our plane. And I'm going to bring in my light boho blue, my light balmy blue, and then my dark and light smoky slate. So let me move that. And I'm going to take my light balmy blue, and these lines here that you see that the artist put into the image, I'm just going to go over that with the blue. So all this shadow area, it's already there for me. So Stampin' Up, the designers, they made it easy. Okay, and some right here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my dark smoky slate, and I'm going to do the wheels. So, okay. And then I'm going to take my light smoky slate, and let's see, that's the brush end. Let's bring in this one. And I'm just going to color my plane in. There's this part. Okay. All right. So I got some spots here that you can see that have white there. I'm fine with that. I'm just adding a little bit of color to it. Then I'm going to take my light balmy blue and these lines that you see in the propeller, I'm just going to go over those lines. And right here. Okay, so that's all the coloring on that. So very, very simple and easy. Now there is a die that to die cut this, but with the magic of TV, I have already done that. So we'll put that aside and we can use that for another project. So then on my plane, on the propeller part, I'm going to go over with my Wink of Stella. And what the Wink of Stella is doing, it's actually picking up some of that blue, that Night of Navy. So you're going to see a little bit of that in with the propeller. So that's, I mean, that's okay. Not a problem. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of embellishing on our card. So I'm going to take my plane and some dimensionals. Add some to the back of this. And I'm going to add one here and then one right up here, like so. Okay, so I'll remove these paper backings. Okay, and then I'm going to add my plane like so. Okay, and then those industrial trinkets that I had. So what did I do with them? There they are. So I'm going to pull out 3, and then I'm going to bring in my take your pick tool. Now there's one or two ways that you can adhere these down. You can use some liquid glue, which when you do that you'd have to wait a while for it to dry, or you can use glue dots. And I'm using a sheet of glue dots that were actually from a previous paper pumpkin kit, and I got plenty of them, so I'm going to use them. So what I'm doing, I'm going to evenly space them along this binding part of my card. So I'm putting the ones at the ends down first, and then I'll put the middle one in there right afterwards. Right afterwards. That didn't make sense. Put it in the middle. Like I always say, when you're filming and the camera's rolling, mouth and the brain do not want to work together. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick these down in those glue dots. And there we go. There is the first card. Now, if you want it, like I said, if you wanted to, you can cut a piece of basic white measuring 4x4. You can put that inside here, and then you can always stamp a greeting or you can just write in it. So this is a bookbinding card, and that is our first project. So let me kind of tidy up just a little bit here, like clean these stamps, and we'll go and do our next card. For our next card, we're actually going to use those builder dies, and we're going to put together the plane. Okay, and then we're also going to be doing a little bit of ink blending. I don't know if you see this off to the side, but here are our mini, our small blending brushes. And then this stand, I did get this off of Stamp and Storage. They do have different sizes, but I just wanted to have a brush for each color family. So I have two of these. I have one that has our small brushes, and you can see I put little labels on them. And then I have another one that has our larger blending brushes on them. Okay, so for the second card, I really like how this card came out. So some things I've already gone ahead and die cut ahead of time. So for this one, okay, let me flip my paper. I do have a PDF off to the side here that I printed out. Before I go to the next card, if you like the cards that I am making tonight and you would like the free card kit for these projects, I will pre-cut the cardstock and the DSP and provide the embellishments. The only thing that I'm not going to do is stamp and die cut those images. You would need to stamp and the set of dies to do that. Per Stampin' Up! Rules, I cannot pre-stamp anything for you. So if you're interested in the kits, it's a minimum $35 order by Wednesday, next Wednesday, June 19th at midnight, and I will send you the free card kits. And like I said, some of the die cut pieces, I will provide those. Just those items that are stamped and then die cut, those are the only ones that I won't be doing. You would need to stamp and dies for that. Okay, so starting off, I have a piece of copper clay. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 4.25. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold and burnish this. And I'll set that aside. And then I have a piece of that Take To The Sky DSP. This measures 5.25 by 4. And then in the paper pack, there is two sheets in there that have panels and tags that you can cut the piece up and you can utilize those pieces in your paper projects. So this is one of the panels. So there's no measurement to this. Like I said, it's just a panel that's in the paper that I cut out. So it's technically like a scrap. So I have this piece. And then here is one of the tags. And I did use a handheld circle punch to punch out that circle in that tag. And then out of the DSP, I did cut out the plane using this particular pattern of the paper. And then I have a scrap of basic gray that I cut out this piece of the plane. And then out of Night of Navy, I did die cut the propeller to this plane. And then I have a scrap of basic white that I'll be stamping on and die cutting using the Stylish Shapes dies. And it looks like I did not go and I did not pre-stamp and pre-cut that. So I'm going to pull out my die because we're going to need to die cut. We'll need to die cut that after we stamp it. Okay. So now on this, we're going to be doing some ink blending. So I'm going to bring in some scrap paper because we are going to be making a little bit of a mess here. Okay, so for this piece, I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink. And while I'm at it, I'm going to get my stamp that says happiest Father's Day. Since Father's Day is this coming weekend, I do have another video that I still have to record at some point. Probably it may be actually on Sunday. If I can do it Saturday night, that'll be great. I'll be doing um, a special holiday video for Sunday for Father's Day. So that's another 3 projects that I'll be using, a combination of a bunch of different stamp sets that I have that kind of have that masculine feel to them. Okay, so for this, I'm going to open up my ink and let me bring in this piece here, and I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp that down. Okay, we'll set that aside. I can clean this really quick. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my green small blending brush, and I'm going to brush some of that off, and I'm just going to go around the outer edges of this paper. We'll be adding a lot of texture to this card. I'm adding the ink to the edges of these cardstock and paper pieces. And then we're also going to rough these papers up just a little bit as well. Okay, so that is the green. Set that aside. And then I'm going to bring in the copper clay ink. And I'm going to bring in the blending brush for that. Ink this up. And I'm just going to go around the edge of this. Okay. And then set that aside. And then for this piece here, let me flip that over. I'm going to bring in my boho blue. And let me bring in my brush for that. And I'm going to go around the outer edge of this one. Oops. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in the piece of DSP that I had already die cut. And I'm going to bring in my Smoky Slate ink. And then there's this one stamp right here that has these rivets in it. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to randomly stamp that on this piece. So let me put that on the block, and just going to randomly stamp this on my plane like so. And then bring that off really quick. And then I'm going to bring in my blending brush for the gray, and I'm going to add some ink to the bottom part of my plane. So I'm just adding a bit of a shadow. Okay, so let me close this up, and then let me move all my inks out of the way, and then we'll put these aside, glue all that together. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I am going to die cut that greeting. Bring this in, move all this stuff out of the way. Move this up. Okay, so I have some Post-it tape so I can hold my die down. And let's see, put it down. I cut that. Okay, put that there. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And now let's go ahead and assemble our card. So in addition to this, I'm also going to be using the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. I don't think I pre-cut any, so I'm going to use this color. I don't think that's Smoky Slate. I think that's actually Gray Granite. So I'm going to kind of double this up. Okay. And I will trim that. Okay, so we're done with that. And then also for this card, I'm going to be using some embellishments, and these are the basic gray and smoky slate pearls. These are actually part of the Country Woods Suite collection. That one's a big collection. That actually has 2 stamp die bundles. And as a matter of fact, that suite, because there's 2 different stamp die bundles in it, I'm actually going to do back-to-back Friday night lives with it. So I'm going to use one bundle utilizing all the paper and the other stuff that's part of the suite. I'll do that next Friday, and then the Friday after I'll use the other stamp die bundle along with all those papers and everything. So I'm going to make a total of 6 projects using that whole entire big mega suite of product. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to kind of rough this up a little bit. So I have my collapsible bin, and I got my scissors, and I'm going to rough up the edges of my paper. So when you do this, you want to be careful that as you're doing this, don't have your fingers in the way when you're scraping this, because these scissors are sharp and you will cut yourself. Okay. And we're going to do this on all of the pieces. Oops, just knocked the camera. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of that paper fuzz. So that's kind of like what our piece looks like. I'm going to do that for all of these pieces. Okay, so I think we got this piece done. Take off some of that extra paper fuzz. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my tag. And just about done. Okay. All right, so that's all those pieces. Okay, now let me bring in my silicone craft sheet for this part. And I want to bring in my liquid glue. This is our combo mono multi-purpose glue, or as some refer to as the green glue, and I put it in this fine tip glue bottle. I got a few of these in a package off of Amazon, and I do have a link to them in the description of the video. So on this, I'm not going to add any glue up to the top, so I'm going to add some around the wheels, this front part here where the propeller is, some up near like this top part right here, and then a little bit off of this back wing. And I don't need that much glue. What's nice about this glue has a latex in it, so a little bit goes a long way. And then I'm just going to line this up. Bring it all up. I think I got it. You could see some glue and it came out, but that's why I got my silicone craft sheet. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue, just a drop, and I'm going to put my propeller down and place that right there. Okay, I'll get some of that glue off of the back of there. Okay, so that part is done. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of my plane. Okay, and I'll set that aside. And then I'm going to take my tag and then my twine. I'm going to fold this in half. And then I'm going to come from the back of it. And then I'm going to take my ends and I'm going to just pull that through like so. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I don't need that. Now I want to do like a little bit of a decorative element to this. So I'm going to go and just add a few knots. So I'm going to start near the tag and I'm going to add like 3 knots. Just give it a nice little decorative element to it. So we got a lot of decorative elements going on with this card. We have the paper that we ink blended around the edges. We roughed up the edges some, and then we're adding this. This may be a little too long, so I think we're gonna add our last knot up a little bit higher. This is a bit long. Okay, and then I'm going to trim that off. So we have a nice bit of a decorative element there with the twine. Okay, so then let me bring in my base and my paper. Now this, I can't tell which side is up and which is down. I don't think it really matters because most of this is going to be covered up. Okay, and I'm going to put this in the center. Okay, and then I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of my blue piece. And place that over on this side like so. And then on my tag, I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of that. And I'm going to add one in the middle. We don't want a saggy middle. Okay. And then I'm going to take this tag and I'm going to place it like over this side, like so. And then on my greeting, I'm going to add 2 dimensionals off to the one side. And I'm going to add some adhesive to that because this is going to lay over this. So I need this side to be lifted up since this tag is already lifted up. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my plane. Okay, and then I'm going to add that right up here, like so. And then I'm going to take my greeting and I'm going to place that right over here, like so. Now one more bit of decoration. So I'm going to bring in these pearls, and there's the Smoky Slate are the lighter ones, and then the basic gray are the darker ones. So I am going to take, uh, I'm looking at my sample card and it's hard to tell which is which. So I'm going to use one of the darker ones, and then I'm going to use two of the lighter, and I'm using the smaller sized ones. Okay, so there is our second card. I just really love all the interest that's on that, with all the different things that we did with it, with the, roughing up the edges and the ink blending and all that. I think that came out really cool. Okay, so then let me bring in what I need for my third card. And I think, let's see, where's my stamp set? And let me get kind of like my cheat sheet over here that has all of my measurements on it. So on this one, I am going to use the stamp that says "Flying by to say hi." That's our little stamp, and that's the only stamping that we are going to be doing. So I'm put that on a block. We don't need any of these other blocks. This work desk can get very messy very quickly, and I don't know about you, but when it gets a little too crazy, it's hard for me to work when there's too much clutter. Okay, so my third card is a pretty easy card, a pretty simple card, and we're using a lot of the paper for this one too. One moment, because all of a sudden my throat just got very dry. So let me quickly grab my water and take a few sips. Okay, talking too much. Okay, so my third card. So I have a piece of Smoky Slate that measures 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25. Then I have another piece of Smoky Slate that measures 5.25 by 4, and I embossed this using, let me see if I can get them. Where are they? Here they are. These are an online exclusive, so these aren't in any catalog. These are the Fun Patterns embossing folders. So these are the smaller ones, and these work with the mini machine, but you can also use these in the larger machine as well. I'll be using this pattern right here. Excuse me. So that embossing folder, it's not the width of this whole piece of cardstock, so I just centered it. So on either side, it's not embossed. So I kind of like the way that looks, and the pattern just seems like it goes well with what we're doing. Now, for my pieces, my DSP pieces, so out of one of the patterns of the paper, I die cut that using the Stylish Shapes dies, and I die cut it using this die right here. And then I have a piece of basic white that I already went ahead and I stamped it, and then I had die cut it using a smaller circle out of the set. And I stamped that using copper clay ink. Okay. And then out of the DSP, there's actually I think like 6 tags per sheet that have different patterns. So I had cut these 2 tags out and I went ahead and punched out the little circles on those as well. Let me grab a little bit more water. I'm sorry. It's like all of a sudden my throat just feels very dry. Again, it's probably because I'm talking too much. So I got to get done so I can stop talking and go to bed. Okay, so the Smoky Slate 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my embossed piece. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this. And hopefully I have enough to get through my cards. I can see that red. That means it's near the end of the seal and it needs a new replacement. Okay, so I'm going to stick that down like so. Okay, and then on this, let me bring in that scrap paper again that I was using because I'm going to do a little bit more ink blending. So on this piece that has my greeting, the ink that I have from the boho blue, I'm just going to add a little bit along the outer edges. So I'm not looking for anything really bold and dark. I'm just adding a little bit of that subtle blue around the edge of it. Okay, set that aside and we'll set that piece aside and we'll also set that one aside. And then on this this tag here, I want to bring in that brush that has my copper clay ink on it. And I'm going to add some along the edges. Now I'm not re-inking my brush. There's still plenty of ink on here. You can kind of see in those lines that I'm getting the ink on there. Okay. So then, let me see, I don't think no, I didn't rough this one up. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's assemble this. So on this piece here, I'm going to add some adhesive to that. And then I'm going to line this up. I want to match the holes up. And I'm going to adhere it together like so. So some of that other tag is poking out from behind. Okay, then I have a piece of this is the 2023 to 2025 in color jute trim. So we got Pebble Path, Boho Blue, Copper Clay, Moody Mauve, and Wild Wheat. So I just snipped a piece of the Pebble Path. Now this jute is kind of thick, so you can untwist it, and there's actually 3 strands to this. So I'm going to separate these. Hopefully we can do it fairly quickly. So like I was mentioning earlier, I decided last minute to kind of pre-record this ahead of time instead of actually going live tonight. And it's just basically, I got everything, as far as the projects and everything, from my class, I got that done. It's all the other things that I need to do in preparation for that day. And I'm working, during the daytime, so it's not so easy for me to get out and go to the store and get the things that I need to get. So I decided, let me go ahead and do this video, and then that way I can, after I'm done working, I can go and take care of what I have to take care of and don't feel like I have to be in a big rush to get back here so I can do my live. So, but I still wanted to give you a video, so I didn't want to just outright not do something. Like I said, I really love this suite of product. Um, since Father's Day is this weekend, I thought this would be the perfect suite of product to use because it does have a bit of that masculine feel to it. Let me kind of clean some of this fuzz up. That's the one thing when you separate this jute trim, it does get little fibers all over the place. Okay, so then I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. Okay, and I'm going to add one more right in here. I'll remove these backings off. Okay, and then on my greeting, I am going to add a dimensional to the left side of my greeting, and then I am going to take this piece, I'm going to add some adhesive, and I'm going to place this down in the lower left hand corner like so. And then my tags, I'm going to place them right over here. So, and then all of this, I'm going to kind of trim this down some. Okay. And then on my greeting, I'm going to add a little bit of seal on the one side that's going to be resting on top of that tag. And I'm going to kind of put this at an angle like so. Okay, so now we just have some embellishing to do, and for this one we're going to use, that's the empty container. We want this one. So we're going to pull out 3, and my glue dots, I just saw them. Okay, I know they're right in front of me because I just saw them. There they are. Okay, so I want to add 3 of these. So I'm going to add one down here. And I'm going to place one up over here. And then one more up here. Okay, I'm going to remove these paper backings. Okay, and then I'm just going to place my trinkets right over on top, like so. So there is our third card. I like the simplicity, the image that's on that tag. I really, really like just how that tag looks. And so that just makes the whole card right there. So let me go ahead and bring in the other two cards that we did. Let me kind of move some of this stuff out of the way so it's not in the camera view. So here is the first card that we made. So it's all blues, and this is a bookbinding card. And again, you can put a four by four piece of basic white in there, and you can stamp a greeting, or you can just write your greeting inside of it. And then we did this one where we did a bit of distressing, of our paper pieces and just fun, assembling that plane. Really like that one. And then, of course, here's our last card that we did. It's a little bit more simpler, but again, the print that's on these tag in the paper and on these tags just really just makes it look so nice. So again, if you like these cards and you would like the free card kits, again, I won't be stamping and die cutting. I will give you the pieces of the cardstock in which you can do that. Per Stampin' Up rules, I just can't stamp and pre-stamp anything and die cut. You would need the bundle to do that. But like, for example, this plane, I can die cut all these pieces out for you, and I will supply also the embellishments, and then I'll also emboss that piece of cardstock too. So if you want the free card kit, it's a minimum $35 order by midnight next Wednesday, June 19th, and I will then send these out on the next day. So with that, I do want to mention something that I wanted to wait till the end of the video to say it. At the end of all my videos, I always say, if you like the projects that I made in that video, to please give, the video a thumbs up, and to subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already done so. Um, I just want to say that, well, I just knocked my microphone. Sorry about that. Um, so when I ask for that, what it does is the more interaction that there is on my videos, and it can be, people commenting on it, people liking it, sharing it, me putting the content out there. There's something with the whole algorithm, with YouTube and all that, that if there's activity, then they tend to take my videos and they'll put it in feeds. Like, so if you have somebody who primarily goes on YouTube and they watch, all the card making or Stampin' Up, you know, um, related videos and all that, then my videos, will appear in their feed. So I have had a few people, like, after the fact, after I've gone live, that have, commented on my videos that said that, that they found my video in their feed and they like what I'm doing and all that. So by liking, sharing, commenting, things like that, that's what puts my videos out there for all to see. Where I live, there are, some other demonstrators that are here in the Memphis area. I by no means feel like I'm in any type of competition with them at all, because that's not what it's all about. But this is me kind of taking that extra step and just kind of putting myself out there so people could see what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I have to offer. I've been doing this for a while. I've been a demo since October 2013, and it was basically towards the end of last year when I really decided, okay, you know what? There was going to be no more talking about that I wanted to do videos and all that. I was going to do it. And then in addition to that, I've had people in the past ask me if I did in-person classes. And it was something too that I also wanted to do. But, during those type of circumstances and everything, it was kind of hard to do them. But here I am. I'm doing them. I do actually 2 in-person classes at the moment a month. I do my monthly Christmas card club, which that happens on the first Saturday of every month, um, between February and November. And this is geared for those people that want to make their own Christmas cards and need quite a few of them. And this way, you can do them throughout the year and not wait till, near the end of November to do them. So I offer that. I have a lot of Christmas type stamp sets. I mean, I got, the winter and snowman and Santa Claus and religious and you name it, I have a lot of them. So, the offers out there where if you're interested, you can just all you do is supply your own paper, embellishments, adhesive, and all that, and you can come here and you can use my stamp sets and the punches and the dies and such. So I do that class every month between February and November, and it's usually the first Saturday, unless something has come up, which I can't do it usually, but I would plan it, earlier in the month. Um, then the other thing that I do is I do a monthly class. And like I mentioned earlier, the class for this month is going to use this suite of product, and that's going to happen tomorrow at 11 a.m. Now, you're seeing this on a Friday evening, so it's most likely a little bit late, to come to this one. However, I am having the classes every month. I don't have, set days in which I do them. When as we get towards the end of the month, then I'll plan what the class is going to be and when. Then I'm going to do it for the month of July. So if you're interested in knowing about the stuff that I have going on and what's happening with Stampin' Up, whether there's sales, promotions, what's new that they've come out, like kits or something. I do have a link in the description of the video. You can get on my newsletter list. I do those newsletters typically near the beginning of every month, and sometimes I may do one during the month, but that's only if Stampin' Up! Comes up with, some kind of last minute type of sale and promotion because we don't always find out about them ahead of time. But everything that's going on, the video schedule on which what I'm going to do for that month is going to be on there. Any promotions that are going on. So if you're interested on being on my newsletter list, the link for that is below in the video. Just simply click on that, fill it out, and then you'll be added to my list. Um, but what I do want to say is now that I've said all of that and kind of got off track on what I was originally going to say, was I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for all of you that come on here and you're here chatting while I am actually live. And then for those of you that are watching on the replay, for those of you that comment, and thank you. Every little bit does help. It does help, like I said, it puts me out there, people see what it is that I'm doing, and it helps, not only growing the channel, where it's getting out there to more people, But then, this is what helps with my Stampin' Up! Business as well. People, it's potential customers. It could be, people that want to be part of my Blue City Stampers family. So just just so much gratitude and thankfulness to all of you who in some way, help me out. And it, like I said, it's for those who comment, it's those who like the video, those who share it, subscribe to my channel, or just even simply viewing the video as well. It all helps me in growing. And so I am so thankful and that for all of you that are helping me out in that aspect. So with that, if you like the projects, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate it. So with that, for any fathers out there that happen to be watching this video, have a blessed Father's Day this coming Sunday. And and everyone just have, be safe. I know we've been dealing with some nasty weather in some areas, of the United States and probably in other countries. I just don't know what's really going on in the other countries, but I know we've been getting some severe weather here. So everyone, please stay safe. And until next time, everyone have a blessed one, and thank you again. Bye bye.